Hey guys, here's Semi aka sflowout. And today I want to talk about a very important topic, Black Lives Matter and the NHS. I'm going to be discussing with you guys 5 topics that I think are really important, that if we black guys get behind it, we can make a change and we can make a difference. So let's get right into it. So the first topic I want to talk about is Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter. We already know that all lives matter. The reason why we're saying Black Lives Matter is due to George Floyd dying and us being suppressed as a whole. We need to change that. Something needs to give. So that's why we're talking about Black Lives Matter at this point. Because we've been suppressed for too long. And unfortunately, it took a dying man for us to realize that. And also, what I want to share is that we need to stop killing each other. Like, let's stop that gang violence, that knife crime. Let's put that behind, yeah? And come together as a black people and make that change happen. The world is with us. The media is with us. So let's all get behind it and make that change happen. Because I don't want our future generation to be suppressed like us. Do you know what I mean? Like, they shouldn't go through what we go through. They should have opportunities. They should have the resources. They shouldn't be living in bad areas. They shouldn't be living in polluted areas. We should be having the same opportunities as our white counterparts. So let's all get involved in this cause and make that change happen. All right? So on to the next topic. So the second thing I want to talk about is passive racism versus anti-racism. So passive racism, I'll give you guys an example, is let's say you have an employer and you have 2 people wanting to be employed. 2 people go for the job. So let's say we have a black person and a white person. Let's say just in this instance, the black person has more experience than his white counterpart. But because the employer is white, he will pick the white person. That is preference over race, which is passive racism, because you should actually pick someone for a job because of their skill, not because of the color. That's one example. Another example is you can be with friends and they can be making jokes. Let's say black jokes like nigger or monkey or barbaric or violent, something like that. And they can be joking about it. But in reality, do you actually know what they're thinking? They might be meaning what they're saying, but they just say it as a joke so that people don't get offended. So these things are passive racism. It's been taken not as that, but it is. And I just think now, with George Floyd dying, we should move towards anti-racism. And something that we black people, I think we need to kind of find the line is with the word nigger in music. Because I know we mention it a lot, and I know why we mention it, because we want to show we've been successful. You know, we've come from a slave family hold or whatever our ancestors are, and we've made it. So we want to kind of say like, nigga, yo, I made it. Like, look, I'm making movements. You know what I mean? I made myself successful. But I just think the way we use it so openly gives the chance for blurred interpretation where everyone can use it. And I just think that we need to be careful with that. Because if we as black people want to make a stand that we don't want to be suppressed, we don't want to be associated with the word slave or nigger, then we need to stop using that word so openly and casually. I mean, what you do in private, you do in private. But I'm just talking about openly so that people can misinterpret it. Because I think personally, if in the UK, we took down statues, yeah, that have anything to do with slavery, like slave traders in Bristol and in other places in the UK, that we're gonna take statues down, yeah? If we're gonna do that, then I think we should also not use the N-word as much as we do. I think if you want to use it privately, that's up to you. But I just think doing that gives people the chance to be passive racist, if that makes sense. Because they can use it as a joke. They can say, well, you guys use it, everyone else is using it, why can't we use it? Do you know what I mean? So I think we need to make sure that that line is defined. And also, I think we as black people shouldn't be put up with certain words like slave, barbaric, violent, drug dealers. That is openly being racist. They're saying that that is who we are and that is all we do. And we don't. There's so many successful black people. Tiger Woods is a good example. Lewis Hamilton is a good example. So there's so many successful black people. Why are we looking at black people, yeah, and describing ourselves as such of, oh, but we see majority of black people only do yada yada yada? Nah, let's not have it anymore. Let George Floyd's legacy be that we as black people are not gonna be suppressed anymore. We are not gonna take those casual jokes or whatever you talk about and in a way of a form being racist to us as casually. No, we're not. We should promote anti-racism, like abuse, like sexism. Do you know what I mean? Like all of that, how that is taken seriously. Racism needs to be taken seriously. It is not acceptable anymore because it is that passive racism that got George Floyd killed, because people don't stand up and say, it's okay, it only happened once. It's okay, it only happened twice. You know, where do we draw the line? Let today, or let George Floyd's legacy of what he's happened to him be that day we make that change for black people, that we are not gonna accept this anymore in society. We are gonna make changes for our generation. Let that happen. So let's all be for anti-racism, yeah? And let's all watch out for passive racism. That shouldn't be accepted anymore. On to the next point. So my third point is about peaceful protest versus violence. I'm all for peaceful protests. I think the minute you add violence to it, you are creating confrontation, which means is that people will always have to choose a side, which is not nice because you want what your message is to be heard. I understand in America why they brought it to violence, because they've been doing peaceful protests for years about Black Lives Matter, but it went on deaf ears, like no one literally was listening. So the only thing they had to do was resort to violence, which was burn down police stations, yeah, and do other things like rioting and stuff like that, which I'm honestly not for, but I understand why they did it, because that was the only way, the only way the government will listen to them and say, this is a problem, we need to do something about it. But in any instance possible, I think we should do it peacefully so that we can be in a position where, look, this is what the cause is, this is our agenda, we want change. Let it happen. And people are more willing to listen when it's peaceful than when you want to take a side and make it violent. Because the minute it goes violent, it's confrontation. The minute there's confrontation, there's always sides. There's always sides, pick and choose. So with peaceful protests, it's harder to do that. It's harder to take a side, because at the end of the day, you'll be like, well, they're doing their cause, but they're doing it in a manner that doesn't hurt other people. So I will listen to that. Obviously, sometimes violence is the only option, where in America, that's what had to happen. No one was listening and you have to resort to violence. But I think in the first instance, we should try and do a peaceful protest. Having said that, I have been seeing tweets about people mentioning, why are black people disobeying social distancing and going out there in massive numbers to basically make their voices heard. To those people, I say to you, why do you go to the beach? Yeah, not wear mask, yeah, enjoy yourself with friends and family for fun and not obey social distancing, yeah? Why is that okay? But it's not okay for black people to protest about something we've been suppressed for years. I'm talking years. Ever since the beginning of life, we've been suppressed. And it's okay that we should not go out there to make our voices heard, but it's okay for you to go to the beach and enjoy yourself. Does that make sense? Does that actually make sense? So please, people, let's think a bit before we make accusations and say something, because at the end of the day, we want our rights heard. You heard your rights. You know, feminism heard their rights. You know, LGBTQ heard their rights. Let us back people hear our rights. We have rights and we want it to be obeyed. This is our time. Sadly, it took George Floyd dying, but this is our time for our rights to be heard. So I think people should be mindful of what they say on social media. On to the next point. Alright guys, my fourth point, is about COVID-19 versus BAME. Why are we black people twice as much likely to die of COVID-19 than our white counterparts? Like, that has really kind of got me thinking, like, why is this happening? And why is it okay? And what I don't understand is, why is the government not putting something in place so that that statistic goes down? Yeah, they'll discuss it in the House of Commons, but actually nothing is happening, nothing is changing. There's no policies in hospital, there's no legislation, there's just nothing that talks about, well, let's protect black people, the BAME network, let's protect the BAME people so that that statistic will go down. There's nothing of that sort. And I just feel like that's not right. That's not right. There should be changes among that. There should be changes. That is not acceptable. How can you say it's okay for black people to die of COVID-19 twice as likely and we're not doing anything to change that statistic? Like, nothing's gonna happen. We're just gonna say, oh, sorry, it just happened. It's just a black person. It's just an Asian person. I'm so sorry, died. No, we need to find out. The government needs to investigate and find out what is causing that statistics. There is something happening in these hospitals that we don't know about. And we need to find out what is happening and what's causing that statistics to be that high. And we need to reduce it. Because that in itself is a form of passive racism, as in they don't care. Because if it was white people, I'll bet you that they will make sure there is legislation. There is a policy to protect them. But there's no policy and no legislation to protect the BAME people about dying from COVID-19. And that's what makes me so angry. It's like, why are we being treated differently? Why are we being treated differently? We're humans. We have families, we have kids. We all want a good life. Everyone in the world wants a good life. So why is this not taken serious? Well, they need to find out why. Why is that statistics happening and what can they do to reduce it? That's all I've got to say, but they need to do something about it. It is not acceptable. It is not acceptable to say that black people are twice as more vulnerable to COVID-19 than their white counterparts and nothing is being done. That is not okay. We have lives. We have things that are important to us like anyone else. That should be adhered, respected to. So there needs to be something that needs to change in that too. So let's speak up and let's speak out that that is not okay and that things need to change, that the government needs to do something about that statistics, and we want to see it reduced. We want to see it reduced. On to the next point. Point 5, my last point, guys. BAME network versus the NHS. So I think, we as the BAME network, we can do so much to reform and change the NHS, especially now with George Floyd dying. There is so much we can do to change. Because I work in the NHS, but I am sick of seeing that us black people work as cleaners, as kitchen staff. We can do so much more, but we just need to be given the opportunity. So I think there needs to be some change in the NHS where black people have opportunities to rise and to become someone more within the NHS, if that's what they want to choose. I think there is no clear pathway for us black people to achieve that. And I think we are also fighting systematic racism where the system doesn't support us. So if we call out against the system, we will basically get a backlash. If anything, we'll even lose our jobs. So a lot of people, I think a lot of black guys or girls, we are scared. We are scared to call out, to call out for help, to say, actually, this is unfair treatment, this is discrimination. Because if we do that, we're gonna lose our jobs, which is we're gonna not be able to feed our families, our kids, etc., etc. So I think there needs to be changes where there's a clear pathway for BAME people, to get further in their career within the NHS. And I think it doesn't really exist. It's left up to people, in the top to make that decision. And I just feel like there should be some legislation to support it. I know there's been stuff done due to the BAME network. And that's also leading to my next part is, let's all join the BAME network. and make our voices heard more than ever before. Because the world is with us, the media is with us, we have the support of people. If we're being now mistreated or treated unfairly, yeah, and something happens to you that was injustice, the world, the media will back you. Yeah, they will not get away with it. So let's now all join the BAME network within hospitals, within communities, within everywhere where we can to make our voices heard that changes need to happen. Black people should be successful like their white counterparts. It should be more equal. It is just too unfair. The system is made in a way that we black people are at a disadvantage, and that is not fair. That needs to change. So thank you everyone for listening, and thank you everyone for joining in. Please, please, please comment, make your voices heard, share your opinions about what you think of Black Lives Matter, what you think of the things that need to change so that we can be treated with more equality and we can have a fairer society in the whole world, due to George Floyd dying. That his legacy is that black people are not gonna be mistreated and suppressed ever again to that extent. That there will be changes, and these changes will make us better for the future and our future generation. So please, please, please guys, get involved. Comment below your opinions, share, you do your own videos. Like, let's get our voices heard more than ever before, because now we've got the backing and the support, and people will listen. And if they don't listen, they have to, because this is something that has happened for too many years and something needs to change. Thank you for listening, and sflowout.